Akshay, God, get a late call time. No, please, I don't get up at 6 in the morning. And then on the other side it will be, Salman, come a little early. No, please, don't come so late. Also, like, just thoda jaldi aana, please.
Hear what I'm saying.
Oh, now you sound like my husband.
What do you mean?
As his wife, then I pull his leg all the time. Hi, I'm Katrina Kaif, and you can catch me on Sit with Hitlist with Mayank Shekhar only on midday.
Hello and welcome to Sit with Hitlist, our award-winning, completely unscripted podcast and print series. My name is Mayank Shekhar. With me is actor Katrina Kaif. Thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us.
No, pleasure to be here.
Everything that I've known about you over the years is that you have your box office numbers in your fingertips. You seem to know the opening collections of movies, the release. So you know the big Bollywood setup in this lot for sure. Like, you're the veteran. No?
I don't know if anyone else sees it that way, though. I get your point, but I'm not too sure.
You had a big blockbuster in 2023 as well. That would be the third Tiger film.
And what an amazing franchise. See, now that's the space that I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say, that gives me joy. You know, that
you don't find that repetitive?
Not at all.
Okay.
I find Zoya, the character, like, I don't know, did you see the film? I found the way that Manish explored her whole backstory, the relationship with her mentor, I found that to be really, really brave. To do that in the space of, a big,
I just remember the car sequence, to be honest with you. I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, even that was just so much, was so much fun. Listen, I love that space. I've always said that is one side of me that's really, really close to my heart. I love those action, these action films, and I love that female action genre. I think that's also really, really an incredible space. I think I relate to that. I relate to that mentality, obviously not going out there and fighting people, but I relate to the mentality of determination and grit and powering through things on a certain level, on a physical level, no matter how hard it may be. And I get a lot of satisfaction and a lot of...
But those are also the movies that become the massive blockbuster successes, and your posters across India in every nook and cranny, every nooker, everywhere, right? I mean, that was what happened with Tiger 3, as it happened with 2 and 1, of course. And that was like the big pairing, you and Salman Khan. That's the, I think we've done 7 films with him. Would that be correct?
I think I would have to stop and count, but I'd say 6 or 7, yeah.
6 or 7.
And I think there's a lot of...
And there's the other hero that you always paired with, which is Akshay Kumar.
Yes.
Which would also be about 6 or 7, if not...
No, we would have done more films.
More films than that, right? You've actually done more films with Akshay Kumar than you have with
100%.
Salman.
Yeah. I would say so. I'd have to sit and count them all out. Humko Deewana.
We can Google this.
Humko Deewana, Namaste London, Singer's King, Welcome, Devanadan, Tisma Khan, Suryavanshi. 7 films.
7 films.
7 films, and I think out of those 7 films, 6 of them are, really, really loved, successful films with the audience, and I think that's really special. I think that we have a fantastic tuning on together when we work.
How's it different? Like when you're in a blockbuster starring Akshay Kumar, in a blockbuster starring Salman, in terms of you as an actor, because you also like sort of riffing off the energy of the other person. I know that people keep talking about Akshay Kumar being this morning person and Salman being this night person, blah blah blah. But that's a superficial part.
No, I think no, it's not. That's a very real part. How we spend our time, and whether it's sunlight or daylight, do we live in the day or in the night? It's a pretty big part of life. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Akshay Kumar is the morning person, so the conversations will go, Akshay, God, get a late call time. No, please, I don't get up at 6 in the morning. And then on the other side it will be, Salman, come a little early. No, please, don't come so late. Also, like, just thoda jaldi aana, please. So that's the...
But that's the part of when you show up on the set. But in terms of actors, how are they different from each other?
Oh, they're very, very different. Obviously, they're both phenomenal artists.
Yeah,
otherwise,
they have to be
you would have to survive
that many decades,
what is it, 28 something years, close?
Late 80s, early 90s, they've been around.
Maybe even 30, I think.
Yeah.
I think Salman done 30 years in the industry, right? Yeah. So you can't question that. As a actor on set, of course he has his moods, as we all know Salman is can be a very honest person that way, but he actually thinks a lot. He thinks a lot, and he sees things from the perspective of the story. He's following the whole story. Sometimes as an actor you can come on set and it's all about the scene, and that's fantastic and it's great, but he will usually still be remembering the entire story,
the entire arc of the
the entire arc
Yeah.
of the film, and he's always very conscious of how the overall story according to him is turning out. But listen, it's been so many years now. You have a tuning with a person on set, right? I've been on set with him for almost the last 18 years, on and off, right? So you know that person, and what I think is really important, to me at least, is that we make sure that the films, if there's ever a film that we're doing, that film has got to be special.
Right.
And that's what I think is important to all of us anyways as actors now. Forget who your co-star is. I think you have to really...
So how's Akshay different? How is Akshay different?
Oh, you're not letting me...
I got your point. I got your point.
I was trying to veer away into some other discussions. Akshay is he's just a different person. Akshay is very, Akshay improvises a lot.
He's more the scene rather than the entire story.
No, he's covered the story, but he improvises a lot. I think Akshay, and he comes on set with the way he sees the scene, and then of course then we'll discuss it, and then he'll see what you're doing, and then we'll kind of we'll play around in that space.
So you mean to say, I still haven't understood how Salman and Akshay are different.
They're just different as people. They're just different as people. I mean, for me it's hard
as actors, because you have to rip off that energy. How's it different?
Yeah. They're incredibly different. It's like saying, how am I different to you? We're two completely different individuals, right? Akshay is a completely different person. Salman's a completely different.
So you have to match his energy. It will be more like, okay, you need to improvise more because that's what Akshay's going to do.
I don't do that at all. I'm not focused on what my co-actor is doing. I'll respond to what my co-actor is doing, but I'm not concerned. Oh, what is he doing now? I have to match it. See, especially in the last few years, it gives me a lot of confidence, and I enjoy my work a lot more when I come from a very prepared place. That's whether the director asks for it or knows about it or not. I do a certain amount of preparation on my own. So I come with that preparation, but I'm not locked to the way that I want to do a scene. If the director, it's not working for him, I don't hold on to it in my mind saying, oh, but I've fixed it and I've prepared it that way. I incorporate with whatever he says, with whatever an experienced co-star or any co-star is saying to me that, okay, no, this is the way I see the scene, and then I'll integrate that and incorporate that into what I've already prepared.
Right.
So I'm not coming on set dependent on what they're doing.
Regardless who's opposite you.
Yeah.
Right.
That I will of course incorporate it, because everything's about give and take, but I've already come prepared with what I feel about the scene.
When you got married, and this happens to all couples, right? You also expand your peeps. You also make new friends based on your partner, and there is a world that you sort of become part of. Did you make new friends? Because this is Bollywood, but there's another Bollywood, right? While it's part of the film industry. Let's say Neeraj Given what part be your friend now.
I say it very openly. I say, baby, you are an art film. What do you call it? It's an art house film.
Art house film, yeah.
I say you are at heart an art house film
actor.
A buff. I'm not even talking about an actor. A buff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's such an incredibly versatile actor, and I think more than he ever demands of himself, I see him in that way, because I just feel he is so capable of doing incredible things. Like as an actor, I'm excited to watch what he does in movies, because I think he is so versatile and talented, and this has nothing to do with me being his wife. As his wife, then I pull his leg all the time. There's that conversation all the time.
You make those disparaging remarks that movie industry guys make, right? Yeah, arty hai, artsy
hai.
No.
No. But in his choices of films. So, for example, if he will know every film or TV show which is coming out, which I might not yet have heard of, and I might come to know of it a little bit later, but he will know of it like on real time. He's very, very in tune with everything that's been made, and I mean that's his experience, that's his journey, that's where he comes from.
Right, but you would meet. I want to get into how your life could have changed from a social point of view once you get married. You would have new friends from Vicky Kaushal, his own.
I mean, absolutely. First of all, it's not just two friends. First of all, it's two families coming together.
Yeah.
He comes from a very,
which is also
close,
a film family. Yeah.
A film family, of course. That's the immediate family. But then there's the extended family as well, right? They all the whole entire family who's in Punjab still, who of course came to the wedding, who we all got to meet at the wedding. So first of all, it's two big families coming together. I come from a big family, right? I mean, I have 6 sisters, and then there's a whole thing, and then there's this whole thing, and that was just, it was the most incredible thing to see at our wedding. And I just think that his parents they've raised just the most incredible children, you know, both Vicky and Sunny, both of them.
So family becomes a new friend. Is that what it is? Like there's a social
First
circle
is two families coming together, and then definitely his friend circle. And one of the most incredible things is he has this really core group of friends, I would call, who have been his friends, all of them. There's a large group. I think it's like 20 of them.
Like engineering college and stuff.
Yes.
Ah.
Since college, exactly since then, and they are such fun people. And so that was a whole new entrant into my life.
This Katrina Kaif, they've always known.
They really didn't. I think because of the way they are, and Vicky and them together have I guess cultivated that relationship or that equation over the years. No, and in fact, some of them even, so kind of the group kind of split up into 2 parts, and a lot of people went to live and work in New York. So even when we travel there, we have a whole kind of group of friends who are.
Who was your first friend in Bombay? Do you remember when you came down to the city?
Alvira was definitely one of the first friends, and we became friends, she tells me, because we went to the same step class together.
Okay.
I don't know if you still remember step.
What is that?
Step is like a little step, and you do like this little, it's like an aerobics class. So you get on the step, you get off, you get on the step, and then you do turns, like a choreographed.
Like a Pilates, I don't know.
No, it's not like a Pilates. There was no such thing as Pilates back then, okay? Step class is good old Jane Fonda. It's aerobics, aerobic. You just kind of, you do simple things.
So you guys met there in the classes?
We met there, and she was like, I was just so fascinated by this girl who would just come to class eating like peanut butter banana sandwiches. It just seemed a bit off. And so she was really one of my first friends. Yasmin Karachiwala, who of course then became like my an extended part of me, because I think in the last 20 years she's spent so much time with me as my trainer.
You know, I have to say this, before I came here for this conversation, Katrina, I was really apprehensive. And I'll tell you why. Because 10 years ago, there is a magazine called Caravan, which is like a long-form journalism magazine. Like they don't write anything less than 8,000 words. Okay.
Have you written an article about me?
Yes, and they asked me to profile you.
And was it? Did you write a mean article? No. I don't know. I don't know about this.
Hear what I'm saying.
Oh, now you sound like my husband.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He says I don't let him finish his sentences.
Well, because I am still talking, and so what happened was, no, it was a great interview. I had met you a couple of times before as well, so I had enough material in that sense, and there was a lot of context making I could do with that profile, but I had no anecdotes, and I'm like, how do I fill up 8,000 words? I can't even change the word count. So I hope you're going to change that right now in terms of, so in the context setting, what I did was I spoke to a lot of people who sort of work with you for that piece. And then one of them I spoke to was Zoya Akhtar. And Zoya, because this is around 2013, right? And the movie, that anthology Bombay Talkies had come out. And you featured in that as a fairy. In that film, there's a boy who wants to dance, who wants to become Sheila, and then...
It was such a beautiful story.
It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. So I asked her, why is it that you would cast Katrina Kaif as a fairy? Because she needed something which is mythical as a story, because that's what fairies are, and something that's totally dreamlike. And she said, first, you can ask anybody, how did you make it? But it's impossible to figure how you made it, in the sense that you knew no one in India, let alone Bombay. You knew no Hindi. So there is that, right? And so she's the obvious one. That's what dreams are made of. I'm just wondering how tough it must have been for you. You were barely 17. How did you even get to India?
I didn't see anything as difficult back then. If today someone asked me to do that, I mean, no, impossible. That's why I always find it fascinating that after having seen so much, after having achieved everything, I think, in this zone that I set out to do. Of course, now I have new dreams and I may have new goals, but when I came in, I had a certain vision. After having achieved all that, I would say I have so much more fear, and I think so much more now than when I came in, when I guess it's like that expression, you have nothing to lose. Because if I had to do it now, I mean, I'd be terrified.
It's terrifying to even think about it. Like, you know, it's like an Indian person going to Madagascar and becoming the biggest star Madagascar's ever seen.
It would be terrifying. And I think back then, I don't know what it was. I think I was just
Naive, and that's a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, innocence. I think. I think it was just naive innocence, and like I remember there was an instance where I was on a South Indian film set with Venkatesh. So this would have been Maleshwari.
Maleshwari, right?
And I was doing a song, and somebody on the set was saying that, I mean, this, like on the mic, like this girl just can't dance, and I remember very specifically, but not feeling pained or sensitive about it, just kind of hearing it as information. Like, so I guess like things didn't penetrate in a way which stopped me. Does that make sense to you? Like, I have so many memories of people telling me to my face, and I can remember it as we sit here, that you will not make it, you cannot succeed, this will not work, I will never take you in a film, we will not be able to work with you. And all of this changed. The same people who said these things to me, I did work with all of them. I did do films with all of them, you know. So had I taken that and taken it to my heart and gotten dejected and gave up, then none of this would have happened.
So what, you insulate yourself from any sort of criticism that's coming straight to your face? Because I think
no, I would sit there and I would cry.
Oh, you would just cry?
I would cry.
And then feel better right after?
No, I don't. I really believe that I process things in the most possible, healthiest way. I just didn't take them to heart. Like, I didn't take it negatively. Okay, he's saying something. Maybe I'm not doing something right now. Okay, let's just try a little harder. Let's just work a little harder, become a little better, perfect your craft, be better at what you do. It will change. And I think I just went with my heart.
Like, you just took it by the day, like played it by the year, like, okay, next thing, instead of getting bogged down, because there is a world that you knew from outside the city, right? And you could have always given up and done other things. You were a professional model. You were doing pretty well for yourself even before you entered the films, if I'm not mistaken. I think L'Oreal already like hired you before you got your first film, right?
Yeah.
So that could have been your thing, but you were very clear it's going to be the movies.
I mean, I was very successful in the modeling industry, but my heart was here. My heart was here, and I think I don't know. It's like we said, it's very hard to explain. Even I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Today, if somebody would criticize me, it would hurt me so much more than I think it did back then. I would take it. It would probably affect me much more.
Like, for instance, you know, in Indian cinema, right? In Hindi cinema or Bombay cinema, for lack of a better word, when silent era was there were lots of Anglo-Indians who worked as leads. You know, Patience Cooper and Sita Devi, and you know, or even foreigners in that sense, right? But the moment it went from silent to talkies, because language was an issue, they stopped being the stars that they were. You worked on your Hindi. It's not easy to learn the language, right? Did you work really hard on your Hindi to sort of perfect it, to be able to do this? In the earlier years, were you being dubbed for your performances?
No. It's just hard work. It was hard work. I think it was Jackie Shroff who first told me learn to read Devanagari, and that was very important for me, because in the first few films at that time, the directors would write the lines on the set and give it to you.
And in Devanagari? Or?
Yes.
Oh,
a lot of them would write in Devanagari, and I never wanted to be in that position where I was like, what do I do? So the first thing I did was learn to read in Devanagari, and I think that was the base which saved me. There's nothing more complex to it than that. And having amazing people to work with, and just putting your head down and doing what was necessary.
Yeah.
And loving what you do. If you love what you do, then you will put in the work, whatever it was. Whether it was learning the language, whether it was in dance that I needed to.
Right? That was killer. Like, I remember you telling me when we met many years ago that you joined a dance academy or a Kathak in a Kathak school, and that among the others were Priyanka Chopra, Lara Datta. You learned dance with them.
They were senior, yeah. Priyanka was like the star pupil in the class. So at the same time as when I was really kind of investing myself into learning Hindi was the same time where I put myself into Kathak training with my Guruji Guru Viru Krishna, and
While
That's
you were
where I
acting,
spent-
you were also learning Hindi.
I mean, that's where I spent all my time. We'd wake up at 6 in the morning. We would be there. The class would be till 12. And, you know, you'd tie your gungaroos, come and knock on the door, a small room with no AC. And, yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
I think the last thing I'm gonna end with, and because we have looked back at your life and your life in the films. This is your 20s, okay? So you get your first film in, then you get your first big hit. That would be Maine Pyar Kyun Kiya, right?
Yeah,
that would be
so.
2004 would be your first big hit, at least in so far as Hindi films are concerned. And then it's your 20s. That's the youth. That's entirely spent working, or did you have fun in this new city that you were exploring as well?
No, I love my job. I love what I do. So I've loved every minute and every day that has been spent at work for me. I've enjoyed it. It's part of my life. I don't see it as separate from my life.
But you would unwind the places in Bombay that you loved going to.
I've loved working with everyone. So oftentimes the teams that we would work with and those people almost become like your family.
Yeah.
You know, they become like your temporary family, and in some cases, they stay with you.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, for me it's every day has been.
It's been a crazy ride, I have to say. I think Leo Tolstoy said something to the effect of a great story is about a man who goes off on a journey or a stranger comes to town. Your story is both, and I think someday, Katrina, you've said a few things here, but I think someday you should film your own story. It's a fascinating one to watch.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
But thanks for this.
Leave some things unwritten.
Really? I think you should write a
I mean,
memoir at some point.
what I want to be said is what is the work I've done and the work that I hope to leave behind, and hopefully the work that one can do with and for society in general.
Yeah, Katrina Kaif, you've been a pleasure.
Thank you
for being on.
Thank you.
Hitlist.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.